Ed, the man behind Static Shift Radio. Rolling with me on the mic are my co-host, the Ferg, from Fergin Around and Retro FM Podcast. We usually have Reggie the Great, but he couldn't make it, had an emergency, so he's out tonight. And of course, we have our producer, Disease, keeping us sounding right and on track. Today, we're hanging out with the guy from Ryder, and it's James. First off, we appreciate you taking the time to kick back with us and be here.
Hey,
Tonight,
man. Thank you.
tonight isn't about a formal interview. This is just real conversation. We're going to talk music, the journey, new release, and whatever else comes up. Just a
Sounds cool.
good hang, some real talk. So with that, welcome to the show, James.
Thank you so much for having me, man. It's a pleasure being here. It's Friday night before Super Bowl Sunday. I don't. Am I allowed to curse on here?
Yeah, go for it, man.
I can. All right. I don't give a fuck who wins because I have no money on this race. So it could be the Pats. It could be the Seahawks. Fuck them both.
So before we get into the music and your guys' new release, we want people listening to really understand who you are as a band. For anyone just discovering you tonight, who is Ryder, really, beyond just the music?
Well, Ryder is a four-piece hard rock band. We are based in Queens, New York, our home borough, our hometown, not Brooklyn, not Manhattan. We are based in Queens. If you're a Marvel nerd, same borough as Spider-Man.
Yeah.
So it is me, James, on lead vocals and rhythm guitar, Max Knight, who is our lead guitar player, Rod Viquez, who is our bass player, and Bill Paluzzo, who is our drummer. And yeah, we're a hard rock band. We're like table salt, man. Like no gimmicks, no frills, just authentic, authentic rock and roll. So if that's what you like, cool.
Hell yeah.
Heck yeah. I think I said that in my review about you guys. I found you guys to be unapologetically no BS, pure hard rock, like what a true rock band is all about. And I really appreciate that. And I think some of our listeners really appreciate that.
Awesome, man. Well, like I said, I'm happy to be here. I'm happy to chat, and anyone who appreciates good music, you're good in my book.
James, as the band is currently constructed, how did you guys come together? How did all of you guys get together? Tell a little bit of the origin of Ryder as far as what you see now.
Well, um, basically, the band is celebrating 10 years this August. So the band itself has been around a while. Um, the group of guys that I'm with, Max and Rod are going on 3 years almost being in the band.
All right.
Bill is relatively new. He joined in May of last year. And basically we just found each other through mutual friends. Me and Max ran in the same scene in Queens. He was in a band called Phantom Night, and we used to run the same circuit. We would play the same clubs, like Blackthorn 51. Unfortunately, they're no longer around. Rod is based in New Jersey, so he drives 2 hours every week to come to rehearsal from South
Oh,
Brunswick.
wow.
So yeah, tolls and everything. And you got Bill, who, Bill's Bill. He's the drummer. He's awesome. So, diehard Mets fan. The only thing I'll say about Bill, diehard Mets fan. Me and Max are Yankee fans. I think Rod is a Yankee fan, but we get along.
I totally get that with most of my family being from Chicago. It was always, you with the Sox or the Cubs, so you got to make those decisions.
Yeah. Well. Let me ask you, which one are you?
Oh, I'm going to go with the Cubs.
Good choice.
Yeah. Yeah, especially if I don't want to get my ankles broke or something.
You know, I know so many people from Chicago. I've never met a White Sox fan.
Unbelievably, you almost never do. It's ridiculous.
So,
So, James, you said you're celebrating 10 years. What did it, when did it stop feeling uh, like a band trying out and start feeling like this is Ryder?
I would say almost 3 years ago, once we got Max and Rod in the band, and when we started recording Menagerie, everything up until that point. I mean, again, I'm not going to knock it. Groundwork was put in. We traveled a lot of miles. We did what we did, but it's a learning experience. And I'm a strong believer that if you're not learning, like you're not living. So you're always a constant student. But I would say around the time we started recording Menagerie, and once we put Menagerie out, that was kind of like that moment where it was like, okay, now we're like, we kind of went from fucking around to like, okay, no, now this is serious.
Heck yeah. Well, speaking of Menagerie, we do want to cover that album and we do want to talk about a lot of things, but you guys have some big news. You've got a live album that's dropping next week just in time for Valentine's Day, live from the dark. Talk to us about that. Talk about your decision to do a live album and what it means to you as a band to be able to bring that to your fans, a live album like that.
Well, first things first, we're all music fans, and growing up, studio albums are great, but I always love live albums, and so did Max, so did Rod, and Bill too. We just there's something about live albums. So the reason we wanted to do a live, first off, we didn't know it was going to be an album. It was just, it started off as an idea, and it was like, okay, all through like the fall of last year, like we played so many shows. Like we went to, we were in Maryland, we were in, got a few here in New York, in Brooklyn, out on Long Island in Amityville. And then we did a 4 show run with Chris Holmes up in Canada.
Right,
And like
right.
we got so many, board recordings wherever we went. And Max handles, all of the audio production for us. So, he's the engineer, the mixer, and the mastering engineer behind Menagerie, and also for Live from the Dark. So yeah, it was fun. I mean, like we have all these board recordings, and it's like, well, why don't we make use of them? So
Heck yeah.
I went over to Max's house one day, and we went back and we listened to shows, and it's like, when you listen to shows back to back, you kind of get ear fatigue. Like once you hear it, and you hear every nuance and every cool thing. Like you'll have one track where it's like, oh wow, the performance was great, but like there was no mic on the crowd, so it sounds dead. But then there's another one where it's like, all right, like there's a fuck up here or there, but the crowd's into it and the crowd's great. So we kind of graded on a sliding scale, and we picked the best versions of each song, and by the time we were done with it, it was you know it clocked in at album length. So it was like, okay, cool, we got a live
Wow.
album.
So, what can fans expect to get out of this live experience? You and I know what you hear on some of the live albums that have been put out before. What can fans of Ryder expect from your live album as they look forward to this release?
You can expect no bullshit, you can expect authenticity. If my voice cracked, if a finger slipped on the guitar, on the bass, if Bill didn't quite hit the snare. It's all in there. It's real. Like, this is 120% real. This is not studio magic. This is not Kiss Alive where we're blending crowd noises and overdubbing and doing shit. This is as real as it gets, straight from the board, as if you were in the room itself when it was recorded. And
yeah.
we have 4 places that I'll shout out right now, that we got some tracks from. Mooresburgers Tavern in Catonsville, Maryland, Lucky 13 Saloon in Brooklyn, New York, AMH Amityville Music Hall in Amityville, New York, and yes, that Amityville where the horror house is. It's literally like
Okay.
it's literally like 4 blocks away. It doesn't look the same. They've changed it. And Capital 33 in Delhi, Ontario, Canada, the last night of the Chris Holmes tour.
James, I love that, and especially as we're on the cusp of this huge discussion about AI and AI created music. I think this is great that you're doing this at this particular time in rock and roll and music history, and your live album is really a kick in the nuts to AI, and not that I want to get off on that discussion, didn't even prepare for it, but it crossed my mind, and I love that you guys are doing this. I love that it's raw, because we do make mistakes, and I'll promise you, often on my reviews, people look at them and they don't realize I've already made 8 or 10 takes sometimes before I get a finished product. So I really applaud you and the band, and we're looking forward to this release. Tell everybody again the date so they can be prepared.
Definitely. It comes out next Friday, the 13th, Friday, February 13th, the day before Valentine's Day. It's available on all streaming platforms, Spotify, Apple Music, wherever you stream your music. And if you go to ryderbandshop.com, we do have CDs available, so there is a physical component to this as well. We looked into doing vinyl, but it was like somewhere in the realm of like $4,000 to $5,000 for like 100 discs. So we didn't do vinyl, but we did CDs.
Awesome.
Yeah, check it out.
Nice.
Awesome.
So,
I'll do more than that. I love to make purchases.
oh yeah, he likes to rub it in if he can get his hands on it before me. But so you said Queens, New York. So
Yeah.
Queens has a built-in grit. Does the attitude sneak into the writing when you're when you're not even trying?
No,
Like
absolutely, dude. You're born with it. Like when you're from here, I think me, Max, and I think Bill. Yeah, like all 3 of us are like authentically like born and bred New York City. Like, we were born here. We're close by here. Our parents were from here. It's just it's ingrained with you. All due respect to Rod. Rod, I believe, he grew up in Jersey, but still, it's just that attitude is just ingrained in you, and it's like it's really hard. It's hard being a New Yorker and like seeing the city that you love pretty much just change overnight. Areas where you wouldn't be caught dead walking at like 10 o'clock at night are now full of like fucking yuppies wearing onesies and fucking man buns and it's like drinking their fucking IPAs that probably taste like fucking Pine Sol. Yeah, it's like it's just as you can tell, I'm not jaded. But, no, it's
Not in the least.
yeah,
Not in the
no,
least.
it's different. It's very different. But yes, getting back to your point, the attitude. I mean, it's ingrained in you. When you're from here, you're from here.
Yeah.
Absolutely. James, you mentioned you guys went on a stretch with Chris Holmes, and for those who don't know, That's Mean Man Chris Holmes, guitar player for Wasp. Talk about going on tour and your experience with him and experience with his band, you guys getting to open. Talk about the interaction and the fan reaction during that segment of your tour.
Oh man, that whole tour was a blast. Night one started in Montreal. Um, Montreal is a great city. No fucking parking. No parking
Wow.
whatsoever, but you luck out if you find the lots, but great crowd. Awesome. I think that was the most French I've ever spoken in my entire life. You have to know French when you go to Quebec. It's very helpful. Um, that was just really cool. And Chris is a tremendous guitar player. He's really, really awesome. And the first night of the tour, it was feel each other out, so to speak, kind of get to know each other a little bit. So it's like, we did our thing, he did his thing, and like we interacted very, very briefly. All four of us. And then things really, kind of came into their own the next night in Ottawa. We played the Brass Monkey, which unfortunately just recently closed. But, right there, it was, Chris is such an innovative and awesome guy. Like, just during sound checks, he's literally showing us his guitar, and it's the same guitar that he used on the first three Wasps albums. Like, he sanded it down and like did everything, and he was showing us how he routed out of the back of his guitar to hardwire his wireless pack.
No
So that way
kidding.
there was no thing, it's just hardwired in. And I was just like, he's showing me how he did it. I'm just like, holy shit. Like that's fucking awesome.
Heck
I
yeah.
would never do that with one of my Les Pauls, and I don't think Max would ever do that with one of his SGs. But it's just like, wow, like who the fuck would think to hardwire their wireless pack like into the guitar itself?
That's crazy. That's crazy.
So yeah,
They were known for doing some things, but yeah, continue.
yeah, it was something. And the next night in Toronto, I mean, Toronto has always been like our second home. It was literally like a homecoming when we got to Toronto. Like, so many people there, so many familiar faces, and it's just
Heck
an
yeah.
awesome room. And one of the best pranks happened. Shout out to our roadie Scott, who joined us on that trip. So Scott does stage managing and like work for bigger bands. Like, he worked with Ace Frehley, he worked with Stephen Pearcy.
Heck yeah.
So he's been around. He has a resume, and
Right.
he's a lifelong friend of the band, and awesome guy. And so on tour, he decides to he decides to fuck with us, and so so night one, in Ottawa on Max's on Max's amp head, he puts a sticker, I heart my butt plug. So it was just like, okay, like it was a little benign because it was during sound check. I was like, all right, haha, whatever. But he got us the next morning because we had our tour event, and he put a sticker on the back windshield that said "Blowjobs 199." Now, a little history with a little Canadian currency thing. Canadians have a $2 coin, which they call a toonie. So we're driving from Ottawa to Toronto, and they're on the highway. There are literally cars like who see the bumper sticker and they're holding toonies out the fucking window.
Oh,
And
shit.
I'm sitting there, I'm like, what the fuck? What? And then you remember the bumper sticker. You're like, fucking motherfucker, really? Like it was great. But so Max ends up getting Scott back in Toronto. So what ends up happening is Max goes to give Scott a hug, and he takes the sticker with the I Heart butt plugs and puts it right on his back. And at that point, Scott was just kind of helping out Chris Holmes and whatever. And there's like a meet and greet line, like literally almost out the door of the venue. And Scott's like fidgeting around, and every time he turned his back to the crowd, you just see "I Heart My Butt Plug." And it was just the greatest thing. Jake Disman, the sound guy, was just fucking hysterical. Like he was just getting right behind him. He got so many pictures of his back, and he was completely oblivious to it until the next morning in the hotel. Like he had the same shirt with the sticker on it, and a very, very good Samaritan let him know that there was a sticker on the back of his shirt. He had no fucking idea until the next morning. Oh my god, he laughed about it, but like he was a little bit like he's out
like,
for more
bastards. They got me. Yeah,
exactly. He's literally he's like outside, like just smoking his cigarette, and he's just like, I fucking know what you guys are doing, fucking tour antics. You know what I'm saying? He's like, I'll get you back. I know some people. You know what I'm saying?
Oh man, this is great.
that was fun in Toronto, and then the last night in Delhi. I mean, it was first off, nobody knew where Delhi, Ontario, Canada was. Even Border Patrol, like because we entered into even they didn't even fucking know. Like we had this French guy. They're just like, where are you going? I'm like, oh, we're gonna end in Delhi, and they're like, where the fuck is Delhi? I'm like,
we're
really?
hoping you could tell us.
yeah, seriously. Well, Delhi is located in the Tobacco Belt, in Ontario. So like literally driving from Toronto down there, it's like you're so many tobacco fields, everything else. So to give you an idea of where Delhi is, it is literally 30 minutes from Brantford, Ontario, which is where Wayne Gretzky was born and raised. So that there's a little landmark. So Delhi is just a little southwest of them. But yeah, no, it's an awesome thing. It was it was a small theater. The green room was literally the size of an apartment.
Wow.
And it was really cool.
How
And
were the acoustics in there?
oh, fucking phenomenal. Well, you'll hear it on Live from the Dark.
Okay, so there are takes. That was a question. Are there going to be takes from that leg of the tour on Live from the Dark?
Yes. From Delhi, there's there's going to be I think 1 or 2 tracks. So, but yeah, no, it's a great tour.
Awesome.
All right.
Man, I got it's awesome stories, your best friends or your brothers always playing jokes, it seems, but all in all, man, that's how it is. If you can't have fun, you can't be too serious,
Yeah,
but
you gotta have fun.
So which song surprised you most when you played it live for, when you're going out to your venues? What got you the most reactions?
It varies. I mean, it depends on the crowd. It depends on the city. A lot of people like Southbound. Some people like Queen Viper's Kiss. Some people like From the Dark. I would say the most surprising was Menagerie, the song itself, because it's literally like almost 8.5 minutes.
Yeah,
And it's
8:21, I believe.
Yeah.
yep. And it's basically like it's one of those songs. It's divided into 4 parts. It's really fucking awesome. But like that one was always like, are people gonna be into it? Like, it's too long. People have the attention span of a fucking rodent. So it's like, like after 20 seconds, they're on to the next thing. And yeah, no, people stuck with it. Like I think the first time we really got like a positive reaction from Menagerie was in actually in Toronto last year. Previous to Chris Holmes, we were up there and we did 2 shows with Pat Travers, and we played Menagerie, and Toronto just ate it up. And it was like, okay, like this is cool.
Well, since you've moved on to Menagerie, that's the title track for the album Menagerie, obviously, that you're talking about there. There's a lot packed in there, James. There's a lot. I mean, rhythmic guitar melodies, dark, gritty metal elements. There's heavy metal elements, tempo switches, and right at the end, at the 7 minute mark, everything speeds up. And amazingly, throughout the whole thing, at least on the studio track, I hear, man, your drummer kept perfect time and is just killing it. Talk about the writing process behind a song that combines so many elements and makes switches. It's like you're telling a story with Menagerie. And talk about the writing process and how you guys put all that together.
Oh, well, Menagerie, the song itself, I mean, that one we definitely had the most fun. We had a riff. I think the working title was called Froggy Proggy or whatever, and it was just like we just kind of developed it, and we're like, I think Max had a riff, and had a riff or two, and I had a riff or two. Rod had an idea, and it was all truly a collaborative process, and we just like kind of put our heads together. And I think it was a Saturday rehearsal where we just kind of sat there and said, oh, why don't we do a long song, like something like something like a Bohemian Rhapsody or like a Jesus of
Yeah.
Suburbia, if you want to go Green Day, like something like that, or like Bat Out of Hell, or Paradise by the Dashboard Light, like multi-part
Oh, man.
songs where it's like, so you just wanted to have fun. And that's kind of the song just kind of took a life of its own. So it is a storytelling song. It's like you start, point A, work your way to part 2, part 3, and then part 4. You just bring it back full circle and bring it back home. But yeah, no, the song itself was really fun. The other riffs as well, Heart of Stone and From the Dark were, 2 songs that Max brought to the table, that he had written previously. And, we just kind of, just all jammed on it and did our thing. And then the other riffs, Southbound was something I had for a while too. One Eye Open and Queen Viper's Kiss was something that Rod had been sitting on for a few years. And yeah, I mean, Menagerie. It's just it was truly a menagerie. It was an eclectic mix of songs and influences. Because we were all different people. Me, Max, Rod, and our drummer at the time, Nick, who was on that record. But yeah, no, it was just it was really fun.
Well, I love that song personally. That one's one of my favorites. I had a lot of fun listening to it, and I think Rob's got something for you.
Yeah, James. So I'm listening to Spotify, and you know, this is before we actually started talking. I come across your music, and Eulogy played, and I was like, damn, uh, it sounds great. But I'm wondering, is this specifically about someone, or is it um, just something y'all wrote up, or? The sound is awesome. It gives like the '80s type rock feel to it, and a lot of people that you know has listened to it with me, they're like, man, that's pretty amazing. So
Yeah, Eulogy is definitely an emotional song. The lyrics, it is based on something that happened to me in real life, in a former relationship that I was in, and basically what ended up happening. It's a very heavy subject. You know, she had got pregnant, and we didn't know about it, and she did, but unfortunately, she had PCOS and she had a blood disorder, and it was, it was something like it was a high percentage that she wouldn't, live through the pregnancy. And basically, what happened is we ultimately made the decision to terminate the pregnancy, obviously for health reasons, and it's one of those things where it's like, you know, and again, I'm not going to get political. I'm not going to, I'm not too much of a political person here, but it's one of those things that, yes, you should have the choice, but having the choice doesn't make it easy. And that song is about that. It's about, making that tough choice, and in essence, the death of what could have been, and also the death of a relationship. It's very deep stuff.
yeah, I tell you, it really touches
Sorry
you.
you had to go through that.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Moving on from that, your song Southbound, you do something pretty cool in that song that I picked up on, and I wanted to talk about it because I love how that you're able to take nostalgic elements and create something totally brand new that everybody loves. At a certain point in the song, I was hearing the bass and the drum beat in rhythm similar to what you hear on You Could Be Mine by Guns N' Roses, but immediately following, I kept hearing this guitar hook, and I was like, where is that from? I keep hearing this guitar hook, and it finally hit me. Shot in the Dark by Ozzy. And the way you guys included that in there, but made something totally brand new and something that fans love, because as I understand, this is a crowd favorite. Talk about the writing process, how you were able to include your influences in there, but make us something brand new, and everybody's just digging on it, bro.
Well, I mean, look, if there's any similarities, I mean, it's purely coincidental. No artist sits there and you know sits with their instrument and goes, oh, who the fuck are we gonna rip off today? And
No. And I definitely didn't take it in that light, because we all stand on the shoulders of giants. But when you hear something familiar, you feel nostalgic, but then it's brand new too, and it's like,
yeah.
yeah,
Well,
that
dude,
was awesome. So I was like, how did you guys do that?
it's just sometimes it just happens. I mean, think of it this way: music has been around for how many thousands, millions of years. It's the same seven notes. You can sharp and flat them. Like I'm sure you could do more if you want to get into prog, but I'm not going to get into subdivisions and all that other stuff. But it just sometimes just magic happens, and things come out.
Heck
Well,
yeah.
I want to give a quick shout out to the audience. We have Von Beardo, Steph, Little Miss Stubborn, Bad Wolf. Let's see. Thank you guys for tuning in and watching.
Cool. Thank you.
Heck yeah. Well, James, the way you talked about that, I love that you say it like that, because on one of your recent Facebook posts, you made mention that it starts in quiet rooms and it ends up on stage. Jack White recently, in his Hall of Fame acceptance speech, admonished us to get into these little rooms and do something we're passionate about. Talk about those moments in the quiet little rooms and what it means to you and to the band and the creative process.
Oh, sure. I mean, depending on which room you get into. I mean, you get into a rehearsal room, that's how where you bring some songs to life. That's where you perfect your craft. That's where you practice and fine tune. And the stage is a sacred place. You get up there, and as soon as you get on that stage and you hit that first chord, or you sing that first note or hit that first drum beat, at that point it goes beyond you as a person, and you are now entertaining people. Like, you're entertaining yourself, you gotta love it, for sure, but you're now also entertaining and connecting with people who busted their ass and spend their hard-earned money, that they could do whatever with. They could
Right.
DoorDash, they could fucking stay home and watch Netflix, or, put on Pornhub and rub one out. Like, there's there's multiple things to do, but no, in all seriousness,
Right.
it's really an appreciation, because out of anything that people can do, they choose to spend their hard-earned money to come out and watch you perform. And that isn't lost on us at all. Money's fucking tight, shit's fucking hard.
Right.
So you spend your money to come out. It's our obligation, it's our duty. We're gonna give you a fucking show.
Heck yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Hell
So
yeah.
I want to fast forward a little bit to February 13th. So when you do have the release, and you'll hear that audiences, Ryder Band has a new release February 13th, going to be on all streaming platforms. So if when fans hear this for the first time, what do you hope they connect with?
I just hope they enjoy it. Honestly, however they connect with it, whatever conclusions they draw from it, that's on them. That's a personal thing. It's subjective. But yeah, just in general, hope you like it. We put our heart and soul into it. We played our hearts out and we did our part, and as a wise person once told me, it's you create something, and then as soon as you put it out into the world, all of a sudden, now it's not just your art, now it's everyone's art. So, hopefully they like it. If you like it, you like it. If you don't, that's okay. Music is music.
Heck yeah. Speaking of music, your song One Eye Open, I love that one. And I loved how on the video for that one, the video seems to blink almost in sync with the rhythm of the song. Was that on purpose?
That's an editing choice. Shout out to Bruce Faulkner, who shot and edited that. Great guy. He really awesome dude. That was a fun day. Doing that. No, he's responsible for the visuals of that.
Heck yeah. Well, it makes you feel it because it's like it's keeping rhythm with the song. And what's so awesome is he got shots of all of you guys playing. And I think that's amazing is everyone got their opportunity to shine. Every instrument got their opportunity to shine. And I think they made a heck of a video for you guys. And I love that one. Wanted to shout out for that one and tell Max, man, sweet guitar solo on that one, bro.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely,
Wish we could have
absolutely.
made it tonight. It'd been
Yeah,
awesome to talk to him too.
Yeah, no, it was that was a long day when I opened. I think we ended up shooting, if I remember correctly, I think it was like an 8 hour shoot, and then after that we had to hot foot it down to Lucky 13 and play a show later that night. So it was
Heck yeah.
definitely a long day. But yeah, no, to answer your thing, yeah, no, it's great guitar solo and great song and great video all around.
Were the lyrics pretty personal? Because you say, my life was toiling away, left here shattered and broken, lost faith, can't find a way. Now I pray with one eye open.
Yes. That so When I Open was a song that Rod brought to the table. He had said previously that it was based off of a relationship that he was in. So yeah, the lyrics just, draw from that experience, from that thing, about, you put your faith in somebody, or you trust them and, you're vulnerable with them and then they turn out not to be who they are. And,
Right,
it kind of jades you a little bit.
right. Absolutely. Heck yeah.
That's awesome. So let's see, what's your lyrics walk the line between the confidence and confrontation? Are they more self-reflection or calling things out when you write the songs?
Um, yeah, I mean, the at least for my lyrics, I could say this much. I mean, I can't speak for I can't speak for the other song for all the songs, but my approach to lyric writing is basically I draw from personal experience, and for me, it's drawing from that experience and then figuring out a way. Okay, what's the best way to communicate this? Because you could tell a story 1,000 different ways, but it doesn't mean that people are going to get it. So
Right.
it's that's usually my process is draw from experience and figure out how to communicate it.
When it comes to from the heart and soul, it's more authentic. So
Oh, absolutely, yes, you can't bullshit experience.
No,
yeah,
not at all. And that's like on your song Heart of Stone, it's kind of a self-reflecting song there, but you guys found a way to make the music and the melody of it upbeat. It's dealing with a certain subject, but you actually that's one of those songs I could drive around to. It's got that upbeat, good feel to it, like a Tom Petty song, but it's dealing with a subject that's not happy. But you guys make it upbeat, and I love that. I love that you're able to do that. Talk about Heart of Stone and writing it.
Well, I'm not really the person to really talk about Heart of Stone because that was actually one of Max's songs.
Okay.
So he's the one who did the lyrics for it. You know, he came up with the riff for it, and we just kind of, I did some backing stuff, and we just tried different things and fine tuned it. But yeah, no, Heart of Stone is Max's song. That's his story, his experience. I can't really try to get in his head, but he'll do a better job of explaining that one.
Right, for sure. But it I gotta vouch for it. It's upbeat musically for sure.
Oh yeah, no, it's fun. It's definitely a fun song.
Almost all of you guys cited some type of involvement at a very young age in a school music program, and your families also as being some of your greatest musical influences. Talk about that a little bit and talk about the importance of continuing to fund local arts and music programs for young people, especially in our schools.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I'm definitely a product of the public school system, public school music programs. Growing up, my parents are into rock and roll and into stuff like that. So, like definitely a lot of Bruce Springsteen, stuff
Okay.
like that. Um, but from a young age, I loved music, and the school programs, pretty much gave me an outlet. I started off on the saxophone. I learned music. I learned the notes. I learned, rhythm. I learned, how to compose, how to, do different things, how to get creative and, solo a little bit, on the saxophone. I mean, I played tenor sax, so not too many solos. It was a very mid-range instrument. So, you're just kind of living in between the bass and the alto. But no, public school programs, absolutely. I mean, you're giving people a chance, an outlet to be creative, outside of, going on a fucking tablet and like, being inundated with screens and technology. I mean, it teaches you so many, um, you know, not even just creative skills, but even life skills, how to problem solve, how to put something together, how to really think on your feet. So, it's a shame, it's a shame. It's one of the programs that, gets the least amount of credit, and it's always shit on and always underfunded, you know, and it's the one program that so many people, I mean, shit, not just me. How many other musicians came from those
Right.
programs? You know. So yes, fund public school program. Do not defund the fucking arts.
We need the arts.
Yep.
Absolutely.
So,
It's funny what we actually need. You know, we that's the least amount of money they spend on. You know, in
yeah,
society. So,
yeah,
so James,
yeah.
5 years from now, what would you make? What would you say? Would you say we did this right? The band, the albums, everything from here on out. Would you say look back and say we've done it and we've done it right?
Absolutely, man. It's I can't really speak for I can't speak for the future. I don't have a crystal ball. I'm not a clairvoyant, but everything that we do, everything that this band is, me, Max, Rod, and Bill, you know, we do everything with intention. We don't half-ass what we do. So, if it leads to success, great. But I can tell you one thing: we don't regret doing it.
Amen.
Awesome.
By God. Yeah. Absolutely. Rock on to that, brother.
Hell yeah.
Heck yeah. You guys are all music lovers, obviously, in the band, and it shows in your music. As music lovers, how were you, if any, affected by the losses last year of great icons like Ozzy and like Ace Frehley and some of the others that we've lost?
That was tough. First off, when Ozzy died, just weeks after the last show, like it was so sudden. Um, that one hit. That one hit pretty hard. Um, because that's like that's like there were three people that we said would outlive us all. Ozzy, Lemmy, and Keith Richards.
Yeah,
Now it's just Keith,
right.
and it's just like it's so surreal. Ozzy was a prolific singer. Um, there was never going to be another one like him. So it was devastating, and then losing. Losing Ace was a little more close to home. We got to a few years ago. I think back in 2019, we actually got to do a few shows with Ace Frehley.
Really?
Yeah,
Awesome.
I got to meet him. I
Heck yeah.
got to, very nice guy. Like I said, our roadie Scott, broke into the business because of Ace Frehley. My friend Emmy, worked merch for Ace like up until the last few shows, and it
Wow.
was just it was really tough because when people on the inside, on the inner camps, it's like you knew he was gone before it even broke.
Right.
So it was like it was one of those things where, like, it wasn't a matter of if, it was a matter of when. And like, when you're privileged to know that information, it's like, can't say anything, can't
And you
do
can't
anything.
say anything, and you guys are hurting, man. You guys
Yeah.
are.
Yeah, it was just it was such a shock. And Ace, from what I knew with my interactions, was very limited, but he was a great guy. Yeah, very stand up, very very down to earth.
Right.
So yeah, I mean, and his guitar playing as well. I mean, my God, Kiss would not be who they are without Ace Frehley. So, I mean, I know everyone wants, Gene and Paul, and yes, Paul was the voice and Gene was the bass, and but they were the marketing brains, and the other, Bill Aucoin, gave him the the flair, but no, Ace's riffs and Ace's playing. I mean, shit, like, you listen to those first Kiss records. I mean, Cold Gin, Strutter, like,
Oh, man. Parasite.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So I mean, shit. Even when they did the solo albums, I mean, Ace had the best one.
Oh yeah, he did. He
Yeah.
did, and it pissed
Yep.
the other guys off. But Ace, he sold more records.
Yeah, I mean, for fuck's sake, they're still playing New York Groove.
Right.
I mean, it's one of those things. But yeah, no, it was tough. Last year was really tough.
Yeah.
So, and yeah, when you're involved in this community, it's like being a musician. It's like being in a fraternity. You feel it.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And that's what I believe about rock and roll and about music. We are a community, and we're a
Absolutely.
family, and it may sometimes be messed up or fragmented or whatever, but we're a family and a community nonetheless. And
Sometimes the only way to
it
express
does make a
yourself.
big effect.
Absolutely.
So, James, you had a question from audience.
Okay.
What's your biggest current influence musically?
Biggest current influence?
Yes. From Von Beardo.
Geez, I don't think I have any current influences. I think they're all like, I think they're all old school people. One of my biggest all time influences, I mean, Lemmy Kilmister from Motorhead,
Oh,
hands down.
oh man.
That dude fucking oozed rock and roll. And like, and I always say, he's a bass player that influenced other people to be a guitar player.
Right.
Yeah, and write and be a front man. Another influence of mine, David Coverdale from Whitesnake. I mean,
Yeah.
you look at that, you look at those Mach 2 records with Deep Purple. I mean, Burn
Oh
and
yeah.
Stormbringer. Oh my God. They were so
I'm
great.
glad you brought that up. A lot of people forget about those Deep Purple albums.
Oh yeah, no, well yeah, because everyone just thinks Machine Head, and and look, Ian's great,
Right.
but I mean, when David Coverdale joined the band, I mean, you listen to his voice, and like I said, Burn and Stormbringer are two records
Oh,
that like, holy shit.
yeah.
So, and then, when him and John Lord split off and they did the early Whitesnake stuff, I mean, again, Whitesnake, great fucking band.
Yeah.
So,
Hands down.
yeah. So, I mean, there's a lot. I mean, getting with Whitesnake too, another influence, John Sykes on guitar.
Oh, yeah. Hell yeah. John Sykes is phenomenal.
Yeah. So, I mean, there's a few. I mean, as far as current goes, I don't know. Do you want me to join the trend? And, yes, young blood and jelly roll all the fucking way.
Well, I do like some of what Youngblood is doing, and I applaud the young man for some of the things that he's doing. But we've talked a lot of business. Let's have a little fun. How about we have some fun? So I'm going to drop a 3-part question on you.
Okay.
Favorite venue, dream venue, who would you most love to open up for?
Okay. Well, as far as opening, can it be like active or non-active, like all time?
Sure, why not?
Yeah.
All right.
Let's go with it.
All right. I just want to get the parameters. Favorite venue. See, that's a trick question because like I'm going to name a venue and it's going to piss other venues off.
Name 2 or 3.
I'll name 2 or 3. All right.
So we don't piss anybody off.
Yeah. All right. I'll cover some ground here. The Rock Pile in Toronto, definitely a great venue. I'll do Dingbats in New Jersey. That's definitely always a fun time. And I'm gonna do a tie for third. I know I'm kind of cheesing it here. I'm gonna do Lucky 13 in Brooklyn and AMH in Amityville. Lucky 13 for the vibe. If you like dive bar type places in Brooklyn, it's a really, really cool place. And the AMH just, for the size of the room, the sound system, just the atmosphere, it's so awesome. That was a dream venue. As a New Yorker, hands down, Madison Square Garden.
Madison Square Garden. There you go.
You got it. It's either Madison Square Garden or Yankee Stadium. MSG would probably win out over that because it's fucking legendary.
Right.
And who would I love to open for? I'll give you current and non-active. Current, Metallica.
Okay.
Non-active, Led Zeppelin.
Nice choice.
Heck yeah. Both legends.
Absolutely.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
So Goldilocks asked you a question. What instrument you play, sir?
What instrument do I play? I am the lead vocalist and rhythm guitar player. So the instruments I play are my guitar and my vocal cords.
And Goldie, that's Ryder band.
James, speaking of the band and speaking of who plays what, let me do something I like to do with a lot of our bands. I want to give you an opportunity to brag on your bandmates. Name something unique or pretty awesome that each member of the band brings to the table for you guys.
Oh, absolutely. Max brings, definitely brings a lot of creativity, brings a lot of attitude, in a good way, just like that determination, like that, fuck everybody, you enjoy yourself and like be authentic, like that. Definitely, that plus audio engineering, knowledge that, he's learned his craft and, he knows what he's doing. So, heart, passion, dedication, that's what Max brings. Rod's the elder statesman of the band. He's the oldest guy in the band, but he brings like, that sense of calm. Like just like, all right, if shit hits the fan, it's like, almost kind of like a voice of reason, like, when he speaks up. He has a lot of life experience. Bill's just fucking Bill. I mean, Bill's just awesome. So, yeah, Bill's just awesome. He's a great drummer. He's he's a great friend. All of us, like, we're like a family. So, and we're all here for each other, through thick and thin. So, definitely. I mean, that's everyone brings something unique to the table.
That's awesome.
Heck yeah.
So, one more question before we get to a close, James. And do you have any pre-show rituals from Von Beardo?
Pre-show rituals. Not really. Try to chill out, get everything together, go. Like usual show day consists of wake up, make coffee, make breakfast, print out the set list, finalize that, get the will call list, just get shit together and do what you got to do. Maybe watch some TV, and then for the young people, TV, we used to have these things called cable boxes. If you're older, we used to have antennas too. This is before streaming.
Go out there and adjust them.
Yeah. So, yeah, no, just kind of take it easy and then, get to the venue, load in, business time.
James, before we close out, remind everybody once again about your upcoming live album and where everybody can stream, purchase, and find all of your music, your entire catalog, including the new live album.
Absolutely. Live from the Dark, it comes out this Friday, February 13th. So if you're looking for a good Valentine's Day gift for your sweetheart, you can buy a CD at ryderbandshop.com. Or if you're looking to break up with her, you can stream it on Spotify, Apple Music, whatever floats your boat. It's on all streaming platforms. We have CDs available. We're on social media, so facebook.com/RyderBandNY, and it's Ryder with a Y, RYDER, and Instagram at Ryder_NY.
Awesome.
Heck yeah.
All right, guys. This has been a great hang. Seriously. We appreciate you taking the time to kick back and talk with us tonight.
Absolutely, man.
Make sure everyone listening goes and checks out Ryder, especially the new release dropping February 13th. Show them some love, stream it, share it, and keep up with everything they've got coming. James, thanks again for hanging with us. You're always welcome back anytime. And to everyone listening, we appreciate you being here with us. Until next time, keep the music loud, and we'll see you on the next one.